Yeah, you got VR view. So if I'm not mistaken, you are going to now see, I've got my viewfinder here, and then here, this is a mirror that I made for myself so I can see, like, me, and I got my little chest tracker as well, got all my trackers. And then this little dot is the camera lens, of course. Maybe not the best film setup, but it is what I have right now. I think I wanted to show that setup ever so briefly to kind of demonstrate what it's like to film in VR and operate inside of VR, or at least inside of VR chat. It's not easy to set up. You have to be very purposeful in deciding to put on all of the gear, figure out the body trackers, figure out the room orientation, and then let alone figure out how do you want to film inside of VR? How do you want your layouts to be? And then the world, one of the upgrades I'll be making soon is fixing how my model is rendered with lighting to open up the kind of worlds that I can be comfortable operating in. That's one of the many, many upgrades I have in mind for upcoming times. And I think with that, I wanted to demonstrate ever so briefly, it's the kind of precarious position that I'm in lately. It's not necessarily even precarious, but I find myself caught between several disciplines and interests, where making YouTube videos, as I am doing now, is an interest of mine. And doing live streams, as I have done on and off, is an interest of mine. What I'm trying to say, I think, might be streaming requires a little bit of a different setup because you need, the chat program, and then I'm still figuring out. Turns out that my preferred headset is the Quest 3. It's got a closed face design, and the Quest Pro has my face tracking so I can smile. But it's a little more distracting for doing work in VR or just extended use of VR for me, how my virtual reality workflow, flow in general is. This is not my preferred headset. How privileged of a position that is, first of all. See, this is not even a video I want to make, let alone a video I want to edit and then upload, but I feel impressed to make a video. I don't know why. I don't know where that impression comes from. That just feels like I woke up on a Saturday and it's like, we're going to put on the gear. We're going to make a video. Why are we going to make a video? I don't know. What video are we going to make? I don't know. That sounds nice though. So I'm following through on that whimsy because typically when I feel a sense of whimsy and I follow through on it, things, more or less generally tend to go reasonably well, or at the very least not any worse than they would have otherwise. I've had pretty good success with when you feel a sense of whimsy, I'm going to make a video. Don't know why. What video? Don't know what video. Just to do the dang thing, I guess, and follow through on that sense of whimsy usually turns out like it's not the worst decision. My whimsies, lately, the past several months, have been taking me in different directions, and this, I think, is what would behoove me to discuss. Because some days my whimsy will be offline, film a YouTube video. Some days the whimsy will be online, like on stream, try and film videos. Or be on stream and just hang out. Or program is another whimsy of mine. I've had an engine I've been developing for a long time, and then I've taken some of that idea and the knowledge I've gained and repurposed it into building a different program to help construct visual novels inside of RenP using Python. And just using the skills that I have, I've transitioned into programming something different, which is fun, but that's not building a YouTube enterprise. That's not developing a streaming following. That's not doing anything that's arguably useful. It's not finishing one of the projects that I've started. I don't understand why I'm drawn in that path on some days and then on this path other days. And that's okay. At least it seems like that's okay. To do what you want when you want to do it, follow through on whimsy or what have you. And even if it spreads across multiple disciplines, that's fine. That's not an issue, theoretically. My thing, though, is there's a decent element within me that wants to not waste time. That feels like I'm behind. But if it was my decision, I would have one thing that I do. Because I would like to be the guy who does a thing. The mirror is going to go away. I like the mirror so there's always the mirror in front of me like I showed you earlier. And I like it so I can look at the mirror so I can look at myself. I'm vain. What do you want? What do you want from me? I made this model because I like it. I want to look at it. That's fine, but it's distracting me when I'm trying to make a video. There's a lot going on in my little panther head. We got to talk about that, but I got to move the mirror because it's distracting me from the content of the video. All right, there. Now it's just you and me and the mirror, which is now behind me. Good? Okay, keep your balance, buddy. So anytime lately, the past several months, this is what I've been fighting with, actually, honest to God. the past several months, anytime I follow through on any of these endeavors, whether it's programming or launching a YouTube channel or streaming, any of these endeavors, I'm fighting against the internal voice that says, choose one. You're running late. You're never going to get there. You'll never be the guy who does any of the things if you do a tiny bit of everything all at once. Otherwise, you could become known ostensibly as the guy who does a tiny little bit of a bunch of different things. Like, that's not an issue. Also, where is this coming from that I desire to become known? For what? So these are the very same voices that I'm struggling with every time I do anything that seems unhealthy. It's the world that we're working with here. I don't know what to do about it. If you know what to do about it, I'd love some tips. And I think all I really want to highlight at the moment is I don't even know what I'm doing here. And I went to tremendous lengths to be able to do it. Acquiring all of this gear was not a simple task. So I went through all of it and then learning how to like film and positioning the camera, what I enjoy, how to make and upload YouTube videos, what my editing style is for videos, and then how best can I film a video so that the editing process goes by more quickly so I can film a video, upload it, I'm done with it. I don't want to be spending a lot of time on any one of these. I've learned rather a lot, got the equipment to do rather a lot. Now it's just time to make something. I don't know what to make, and I don't get impressed to make things as often as you would have thought, because now that I have this ability, this capability of mine, then my whimsy shifts into programming some more instead. Great, I have everything I need to film YouTube videos, which blessedly be, my whimsy has taken me in this direction again, because I do love doing what I'm doing right now. Hell, if I know what I'm doing right now. And there's a program over there that I've started, kind of working with the developer, kind of not. It's just something I decided to do independently that could be rather a beneficial addition to like their process, their programming that's going on. But whimsy has taken me away from there for about 2 weeks as I've been figuring out other things and trying to deal with my psyche. And I suspect that if I just went with the flow, as they say, that is something they say. Go with the flow. Get out of here. Get out of here. What flow? What flow? Do you have a go with the flow to me just kind of seemed like you can't dictate your own flow. But if life flows, like what the hell can I go with the flow? Okay, great, thanks, we'll get right on that. So, hands. All right, so there might be two ways to handle this frustration of mine, right? Either trust or have belief or faith, God forbid faith, like fuck it, that the flow will take me where I'm meant to be, follow the river of life, and, so I've been kind of doing that. I've been dropping misery like it's hot, and that's been going pretty well, though. It's a radical new way of living life, but I recommend it. If something's causing you pain, drop it like it's hot, because you don't need to be holding on to things that cause you pain. The world sucks just casually, badly enough, all of the time. You don't need to be adding more and holding on to things that cause pain. Drop it like it's hot. 10 out of 10. Drop it like it's hot. Old friendships, the marriage that you've been putting off leaving for a really long time. Even this hobby, getting all of this gear, which is rather an investment in body tracking and headsets and nonsense, right? And computers that can do all of it. Not something to be done lightly. But I'd been fighting myself against the voice because I had had the inspirations to take this investment into myself for years before I finally like, you know what? We're going to listen to it. We're going to listen to ourselves and we're going to make the investment. Amazing. Amazing. I feel great. I love having the gear, even if I don't know what I'm doing with it most of the time. 10 out of 10 on dropping the misery, which was holding myself back from my own intuitions. That was causing me pain. Drop it like it's hot. If it's just follow through on whimsy. Like, it's not perfect, but typically it's done pretty well for me so far. So you can drop it like it's hot, where this flow, the river of life, is taking you with a lot of fear that maybe it's not going in the right direction, or you need faith that it'll take you where you're meant to be. All of this concern that I have towards the future and what life's going to hold, possible, in theory, to drop it like it's hot. I don't know what life's going to have in store for me. Here's what it has now. Here's what I'm going to do. Fuck the future. That's possible. I feel like there was two things, though. One was in my control, one was out of my control, but nothing is ever actually in our control. Easily proved, because people will just die. Just at any given moment, life can radically change, possibly in good ways as well. You can get a promotion for no reason, or some such, I guess. But point being, change is inevitable, and there's some changes that will just occur. You can't plan for those changes, so you have to plan for things to be unplannable for? So why are you trying to build such structure to your life in the first place? And this is the other one I've been really fighting with, okay, guys? This one's big. I just gotta remember what it was. So my imagination is wildly limited in comparison to the possibilities of the world. There are more things that are possible than I can even fathom as being possible. Like, pretty clearly, to me, this is a little bit damning because the extension of that thought is that if I can imagine it, it's probably not going to occur because the universe is far more vast, far more possibilities. Any plans that are going to happen in my future probably are going to include people I have not met yet. In particular, because I hardly know any furries. A shame. Of the furries, I do know, like, I don't collaborate with any of them, and I don't collaborate with any people generally, and I love collaboration. Okay, that's not true, actually. I do collaborate a little bit with one and, like, a quarter people. So that's just something I would like to do more of, but then those aren't, like, furry forces hanging out in VR doing, like, this interest of mine. So probably when I move forward in the future, as these are interests of mine deeply, it would make sense to be working with those people towards the future that I am invested in, which means that the future I'm going to be building likely includes people I have not yet met. So when I'm imagining the future and where it's going to go and where do I want to take it next and what's step 4 on the plan, let alone what's the current step on the plan, do the current step first. Hell, if I know what the current step is, except for follow the whimsy of the heart, and then be a little bummed out when I don't understand what that means. But I myself am far larger than what I am consciously capable of, like, understanding. So there's probably a far more vast element of self that understands far more than I can understand intellectually. So following that whimsy is actually following more akin to my personal path as dictated by more of me than I can understand. So it's really about letting go of this idea that I need to understand anything because I can't understand everything. That's the limiting factor. But I want control in my life, and I want to decide my own actions. I don't want to go with the flow. I want to dictate my own flow. Go with the flow. You go with the flow. Tell me how it is. I'm being petulant. That's okay. Sometimes, right? To be petulant. I don't want to be petulant. And that's another frustration of mine. I don't want to be petulant. And when I follow the whimsy of the heart and film a YouTube video, I don't want to then feel anger or aggression towards that part of myself. Like, oh sure, I'll follow the whimsy of the heart, but I'm not gonna like it. It's the Bob's Burger thing. I'm gonna complain the whole time. Like, that's fine. Yeah, you're doing the thing, but I can't help but feel like the grander part of me that had the inspiration right now for reasons that the human doesn't understand and cannot understand because the universe is far more vast than I can understand. Somewhere, someone, some way, it makes sense right now to be filming a YouTube video. On one hand, it's nice when the only physical form which can film my videos is me. So when I get on board with my own intuition and inspirations to make a YouTube video, it feels good when the physical vessel listens and does the thing that my intuition dictates is the right decision to make. But that system has been causing me tremendous pain because the human wants to understand why he's doing any of it. My actions make sense to some part of me. I have a proof for that. As I film a video, I'm of course going to be in just some mentality. I'm in the film a video part of my life. When I edit this video, I'll be in the edit video part of my life. Who knew, right? And I'll be receiving the words I've spoken now in a different way as I'm editing them together. After, down the line, when I've published the thing, there have been instances where I've rewatched a video of mine or rewatched a stream, which I think is good practice to understand what I said, what I was trying to say, what could I do differently, what went well, etc. In that instance, I'm going to be receiving the words yet differently than the other times I've touched the subject matter, because every time I've touched the subject matter, I was in a different part of life, even slightly, which means any part of life I'm in is different from each other. Now, the times that I'm filming are related, and the times that I'm video editing are related. Those are video editing mindsets, etc., which means that there's different aspects and elements of self, different pockets I can enter into, and these are different ways of expressing myself and my interests. I like making videos. I like programming, so there's always different, like, pockets of self that, like, this is the version of self that's programming. When I'm programming, these are the things I value, and this is what I get excited about. And that changes pretty consistently throughout life. And for me, it's just pretty dramatic. And when I get lonely, I get really lonely. When I want to hang out with people, I get really social really fast until and then you fill your social bar and then you got to fill other bars. It's just really hard juggling all of this stuff. But when I am in any given moment, I tend to put my everything into that moment. So it looks like there's a million different versions of me doing a million different things because everything I do, I buy into all of the way. But you can't buy into filming and then that's the exact same energy you take into editing and then into viewing or playing a video game. Different energies go into all of these things. So it could be, if I, as a human person, exhibit at different times in my life all of these different energies, that there could be some manner of control board which understands all of what I, the human, am capable of doing. I can video edit, I can program, and then I can cook. I can be a good, brother or whatever. An attentive coworker. I don't know. I can be physically fit or absolute slob, eat Doritos all day. That's the version of self I like the most. This is all to say that I can imagine some manner of control board in the sky, which keeps better track of all of these different mental states of mine than I can manually keep track of. It's everything I can do to live a presently minded life by giving everything that I'm doing into what it is that I'm doing. I want to live the pieces of my life all of the way. I hate doing things half-assedly. I would just rather not. It's not a big deal and it causes a lot of problems because sometimes you can only do things in incremental amounts and that doesn't feel like whole-assing something. If you can only do it for 30 minutes, it's not worth doing. Until you realize that bringing in all of it, whole-assing something for 30 minutes is better than not at all. You don't need, you do what you have to do to get by with what you have, etc., right? So I guess I'll stop beating around the bush. It is my theory that the subconscious understands more of what it is to be me in the broad sense than my ego can understand at any given moment because I can only perceive what I'm getting in the moment. I can make decisions based on the things that I know. I don't know very much because the world is very big and full of possibilities that I cannot even understand. So effectively, it seems likely that none of the future I can perceive is going to happen as I imagine it because my imagination is limited and I cannot understand the full breadth of who I am at any given moment because I am always changing along with my environment to react to where I am in a given moment. There's some element to me I think might be called the subconscious or something below that, which does understand what it is to be me. And maybe down the line, I'm going to need my programming hat again. So this part of me could, in theory, understand, oh, the programmer is feeling deficient. So I might receive some manner of inspiration that the grander part of me has no interest in or no need for, but the programmer part of me was neglected in, and that was the meter that needed to be filled or something like that. Right, I have no idea what I'm talking about. This isn't even an interesting thought, and I'm not saying it very well. All I'm trying to do is convince myself that it's okay to listen to the subconscious, to understand that it knows more than I do, and I can follow through on this whimsy of inspiration without understanding why it's happening, because I cannot understand why it's happening, because it knows far more about me than I ever will. So I could trust that that's a good system, that it's going to lead me to a good place. Outside of that, I could trust that I, intellectually, don't know what I'm doing. I make bad decisions constantly. I mistreat people in my life. I put too much focus on parts of I've had so much tunnel vision on filming videos that it's interrupted me being comfortable with streaming because I've wanted to stream and film videos, emphasis on the videos, not emphasis on the stream. I haven't split things up the right way because I've had such tunnel vision on making videos. And that's an intellectual decision, mind, to work on videos, and there is still an inspiration that does come every now and then. It's time to make a video. Just for some reason, the stars have aligned, and that's something that we need to do today. And I get really hung up on trying to make the decision, what do I want to do today? How shall I behave? But then if you operate in the moment, people tend to think that that's a dangerous thing to do too. Because if you live in the moment, in theory, that's when you start just getting high all day or drinking and then playing video games. Because in the moment, if your physical needs are met, then you're being a very wildly successful human. You get leisure time, infinite leisure time if you have the resources to do so. And I don't have to do anything. No one has to. Really, arguably, but then after you do the things that you do have to do, you're free to do whatever you want. And I don't know why that causes me pain. Drop it like it's hot. The yearn for control in the things that I do is causing me pain. Inarguable. I'm happier when I do things and I don't understand why I'm doing them and I just lean into doing. And the part that seeks control or understanding hurts. I don't want to let go of that part of me. I also don't know how easy it is to do that. You can do that in relationships. You can drop relationships like they're hot. Hobbies, you can drop those like they're hot. Not a big deal. Names, I dropped my name once. Like it was hot, it was causing me pain, so I just dropped it, formed a new one, not a big deal. It was a huge deal at the time, but drop it like it's hot, and skyrocketed my growth. Is it possible to drop a part of yourself like it's hot? The part of me that desires understanding? Can you drop it like it's hot? Because that's the part that hurts right now, is not knowing why I'm filming, or why I'm doing streaming sometimes, or why I'm doing video, or programming sometimes. I'm writing again? That's pretty cool. That's actually really cool. I love writing. I've been writing little essays because my idea was if I write things out ahead of time, I could then deliver them on camera a little bit more fluidly because I've had written out those thoughts so I can deliver them a little bit more cleanly. I mean, that's not a bad theory. I don't know how much it's going to come to fruition or not, but it's good in theory. I've been writing again, and that's fantastic. And it would be pleasant to know why, especially because I want to be able to make plans for the future. Plan for the future is for the foreseeable future, do things that my heart wants to do. That sounds like a pretty good plan, does it not? I don't need to be working a full-time job right now, so I've got time. I have shit tons of equipment and capability and interests, various interests that I can pursue. It's amazing. It's a great life. And the only problem, or at least right now the biggest one, is being in pain because I don't understand why. How I often address this pain of mine is I try to create reasons why. I try to fabricate an understanding. For instance, I've had different ideas for what this channel would be, and one of them was that I have far too many ideas to express than I could at any given time, and it's going to be frustrating re-expressing those ideas. So if I receive a question down the line, I could be like, oh yeah, watch my YouTube video. Qualities of the Heart Part 1, go with the flow. Fuck that. Or something like that, right? So I have a video like backlog of just thoughts that I've had, and that sounds kind of fun to me, just to say thoughts and have those. Sure. But honestly speaking, the idea was, as I program or as I stream or as I write, if someone finds the things that I've written, then there could be more content elsewhere. Oh, if you liked that, I have a YouTube channel. Oh, if you like my YouTube channel, you found my video for no reason, I also live stream on Thursdays and Fridays. Oh, if you found my stream first, then I also have been doing some freelance video or freelance programming work for visual novel construction or nonsense, right? So if I wanted to generate a reason that I'm making YouTube videos because this part of me that yearns for control or understanding hurts, I could say I'm making a video because I want there to be more content for when people find me, there's just more things that they could watch or consume about Phineas Former to get more into the ecosystem of me. That sounds reasonable. Sure, strange decision. Or then I can also layer on practice in video editing, as well as honing my skills in making something rapid fire, learning what's okay, when it's good enough, how to send it, because that's a skill I want to develop, and I'm using YouTube to help me develop that skill and keep myself a little more sharp, and it's a fun hobby compared to my programming, which I'm treating more as work. All of that's technically true, and that sounds pretty gosh darn good, right? That doesn't sound too bad at all. That's the kind of thing you can say to your parents to impress them, because it sounds like you have your life together with some bullshit like that. Like, that was a couple of great sentences. If you want to, like, justify your actions, especially to yourself. Oh, I don't know if that worked or not. If you want to justify your actions, that's a great way to do it. That is a great pair of sentences. Oh, that's dynamite, right? I know better than that. You know better than that, too. That's not what I'm doing here. I would love it if that's what I was doing here. I would love to understand what I'm doing here. I just don't. And that's not as comfortable to explain to people. What did you do on your day off? Oh, I made a YouTube video. Oh, really? What video? I don't know. Why? I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. That's frustrating to me. I want to have a reason for what I'm doing. In particular, so first of all, when I do talk to people about what I'm doing, it sounds nice. Hate that. And then when I talk to myself, it sounds nice also. So the part of me understands. But I think actually it resonated a little too much when I said so that when I talk to other people, they'll understand and it sounds nice. Because I want it to look like I have my life together when I don't. But how do I not have my life together? I pay my bills on time, I pay rent, I have friendships. What am I missing? I I can't be missing anything. I don't think I'm missing anything. Nothing is missing. I want to understand in large part so when I describe to other people it sounds better. So instead of dropping like it's hot, this part of me that wants to understand, because I don't think you can drop that like it's hot. That's part of you. You can't just drop part of you. I don't know. Now, you cannot just drop a part of you like it's hot, because any part of you is part of you. I don't think you can pick and choose those things. And it's better to appreciate that the part of me that wants to understand is a part of me. Try and help it out how it can and help it to understand in small ways. I think I can maybe drop the part of me that wants to be able to explain to other people and have my actions sound good and deliberate. I think that I can drop. And when I quit being an alcoholic a while back, because I realized that alcoholism is seeking stasis. I'm running away from a problem. Why am I running away? So I stopped running away from my problems, only I never replaced that coping mechanism. So what I ended up doing is just a whole bunch of sitting and staring at my bedroom wall and feeling everything, like all of the time, forever. I just kind of did that for a few years because I never gave myself healthy outlets. I just took away the bad one. Not great. So for this part of me, which seems very real, that just wants to understand what my own actions are, and that's understandable. You're not going to get mad at a guy for wanting to know what's going on. I really want to know what's going on. Pay respect to that, but take away the idea that it wants to be able to use the information to advance my social relationships, to be able to explain to people what I'm doing and why. Sounds really good. So take away the part that wants to use the information, and then, nope, that can't work either. But it of course can't work because I cannot know what's going to happen. It's all very messy. I hope you can appreciate that it's messy. That's it. That's going to be it for this video. I don't understand why I'm here. Yep, that's it. That's it for this video. I don't understand why I'm here. It's messy. Doing the best I can. So far what I've landed on is not using my myriad of actions to further social standing with others. That sounds like a useful one to learn. It doesn't solve the issue of wanting to understand my actions in the first place, because that's a reasonable human thing to want to know. And typically, on the other side of my actions, I then receive knowledge of why it was useful to do. I don't think it's useful to ask why this is my journey if you've gone with the flow, because I made this decision, not just like this film this video decision, although I did make that decision today, but I made the decision some time ago to follow along these these elements of whimsy, to make a video when that's right, to transition into streaming when that's right, and then to get back into coding when that feels right, and to follow whimsy every step of the way. I made that decision a while back. I've just also been harboring this part of myself that's angry about it, and I don't think that's fair. I do not believe you can decide to do something and then be angry about it. You can't tell grandma that you're going to mow her lawn and then get pissed off about it. Like, no, you made that decision. You don't get to be mad about it. What are you doing here? So if I've made the decision to follow whimsy and pursue all of these myriad endeavors, I can't get mad about it. Especially that's unfair to the parts of me that are excited, and any given part of me at any day, I am very excited about all of my endeavors. I love programming. Most recently, the thing I've been working on works, and I was able to throw it together, so that was a fun test of like testing my skills in programming and what I've learned so far, and then developing something for someone else is a little bit more fun than developing something only for me, because I don't know exactly what I want, but if I can turn something that someone else wants into reality, that's great. I love that. I love all of that. So it happens pretty frequently that I'll be in the middle of something that I love doing, and my ego or some part of me is upset about it, and it's like, well, why are we doing this? And it's like, well, fuck off, dude. Like, this is part of the path. I'm going with the flow. And I don't know what to do about that, right? Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. I didn't solve anything. Didn't really say anything. But this is the video. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. What I want to do is keep filming. No, because my style, my entire style is predicated on start something, finish it, upload it. That's my writing style. That's just how I like doing things. In programming, that's how I like developing features, as it turns out. Start something, finish it. And most features take a lot of work. So start part of the feature and finish it. If this function has to call back somewhere else, like build a piece of the logic, document it nicely, finish it. Start something, finish it within reason. So in that spirit, I'm going to, on this very warm Saturday day, sit in my sweltering room with my very warm computer, especially after I've been doing some VR work. It's going to be nice and toasty. And I'm going to edit whatever this video is and upload it, and then live my life of whimsy from there. Bah. All right. Thanks for hanging out. Bye.